This conference will now be recorded.
Okay,
All right,
Ryan.
everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 6, 2023 meeting of the Clinton Inland Wetlands Commission. My name is Ryan. Reluctantly, I will be your chair tonight. I will need a significant amount of assistance from everybody here. I will stutter my way through this and do my best. So anytime I'm doing something wrong, please just start waving and yelling and screaming. First, Kathy, would you mind doing roll?
I'll do the roll for her.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Okay,
Sharon.
Tanya Abatello,
Here.
Edward Alberino. You're muted, Eddie.
I know, here.
Michael Florio,
Here.
Robert LaFrance is absent. He called and said he wouldn't be able to make it tonight. Bertram Schmitz,
Here.
Ryan Tardisell.
Here.
Scott Harley advised that he would not be here tonight. Lawrence Edwards? No. Kimberly Lombard.
I'm here. I'm sorry, but Safari isn't opening this up for me. I apologize. I'm just on voice.
Okay, let's see. That's Kimberly.
That's great, as
Yeah.
long as you're on the call.
Cool. And Kimberly, will seat Kimberly for Robert.
Great.
Oh. Okay, let me just switch plans for a minute.
All
Sherry,
right,
Lawrence Edwards just joined.
Lawrence just joined, and Lawrence will seat Lawrence for Scott.
Ed Alberino.
Eddie, you're muted.
We'll seat Lawrence for Scott.
Lawrence for Scott. And
Oh,
Kim.
Eddie's using caller. We can see Eddie with the video, but he's using his phone to call in.
No,
it
no,
sounds
no,
like.
I called Lawrence Edwards.
Oh, because you were shaking your phone. Okay, you called there. Okay, so
Okay.
he's
Yeah,
here too. Great.
Our caller is Lori and Bob McGrath.
Okay, great.
They are caller one. And
They're caller one.
Kimberly is caller two. And Kimberly is seated for Scott. No, Kimberly is seated for Scott, and Larry is seated for, no, let me get this right. Kimberly is for Robert.
Hi.
And Lawrence Edwards is seated for Scott.
Yep.
Okay.
I can barely hear you. I don't know what's going on here.
Is that me?
We can hear you quite well, Lawrence, but it looks like maybe a connection issue on his end because he's dropping off entirely. All right, we'll keep an eye on Lawrence there.
Where did he go?
We lost him.
He's back.
Lawrence, it looks like you might be having some connection issues. You may want to try turning your video off.
Can't hear.
You may want to,
For some reason.
yeah, Eddie, you might want to give Larry a call and
Yeah, okay.
tell him to maybe
I'll take
restart
care of
his machine and
Yeah, I will.
and if he does join back in, maybe turn it off video. That'll help with bandwidth for him. All right, I think we're good to move on, right?
Yeah.
All right, so number 2 here, we've got minutes.
Larry,
It says review and approval of the April 4th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Do we need to do something there?
You need to.
Yeah, I'll
Make a motion to approve those?
almost open to approve the April 4th, 2023 regular meeting. This is Bert.
Hey, Bert, do I have a second?
Kimberly
second.
was
Second.
Who was the second on that?
Tanya, I think.
Tanya. Okay. Now you have to ask for discussion.
Any discussion on those meeting minutes? All right, and we have a secondary one because we did that special meeting. So,
We'll do it separately.
okay.
Okay.
I can hear you, but softly, you know?
That's the way we like to be heard, Larry.
Okay.
Larry, turn the volume up on your computer. There's a knob that says.
That's what I'm doing, but
volume.
it's not working.
All right, do you have speakers? Turn those up.
Yeah, I have it on speaker.
All right,
You
we'll
can
turn
also-
those up.
You can also use the phone number on the agenda and call in if you prefer.
Hold on a second, recording, share hand.
All right, Sherry. Now, next, now that we've
Well, we
finished
didn't
the
have a vote. Well, we didn't have a vote on the April 4th yet.
Got it. So we need to take a vote on the April 4th. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
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 Aye. Anybody abstaining?
Wait a minute. Oh, here it is, regular meeting here. Hold on a second. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Aye, we can hear
Wow,
you.
now hold on. Let me see. I got some of it here. Okay. Now I can hear you good. Okay. I figured it out.
Hey. All right, Larry. Welcome. Welcome.
Apologize. Hi, Kathy. I saw your friend Julie you went to school with.
Hey, Larry.
Oh,
We gotta
Julie Foss.
keep
Yes,
keep it rolling.
she said hello.
Okay, great.
Very good. All right. Is
All those-
anybody vote
Opposed.
against the meeting minutes from April 4th?
No,
And
they're all
anyone
approved,
abstain?
Ryan.
And we're all approved. All right. So now I'm going to make a motion to review and approve the minutes of April 20th, the special meeting site walk minutes. Any discussion on that? All those in favor of, oh wait,
You
we
need a
need to make a
motion.
motion? Need a motion?
I'll motion it.
Who was
All right.
I
that?
don't think I don't think I was there for those, Ryan. So,
You
Yeah,
were with
okay.
me. I think
Yeah,
you
you
were.
I was there or wasn't?
We're there.
You were there. So
Okay.
was Larry. You want
Yeah,
to second
Larry
it?
moved.
Took care of it. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember. Yes. Okay.
Larry moved. Okay, that was, Lawrence Edwards moved, and who was the second?
Al Marino.
Edward Alberino the fifth.
Okay, now you need to ask for a discussion and then a vote.
Any discussion on those meeting minutes? All right, we'll take a vote to approve those. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Anyone abstaining?
I'll
I was-
abstain. I wasn't there.
All right, Tanya
Thank you,
abstains and I was an
abstain.
aye.
Who else abstained?
I don't think anybody,
Tanya.
just Tanya abstained, sorry.
That's Tanya. Okay.
Just Tanya.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and then May 2nd, we canceled that meeting. I assume it wasn't for quorum, right? We canceled the meeting because there was nothing to discuss.
There was
There was
nothing, yeah.
no applications at
Correct.
the meeting.
All right. So am I free to move on to the receipt of applications?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
May I
All right.
speak here before we
Please.
get to that point?
Please.
Okay. So we had a few applications in the office that are not coming to you yet because they're incomplete. So that's why, I don't know if anyone paid attention to the numbers, but they're a little out of sequence. So both of these applications, 32 Old Nod Road and 8 Lindera Lane, are both for beaver deceiver water leveling devices. But I sent a memo. I don't know if anyone or everyone had a chance to read it yet. But basically, what it is I had a discussion with Darcy Winter. I also called around to some of the local towns, particularly I spoke to the East Haddam Wetlands Enforcement Officer. And I also took a look at our regulations and the state statutes. And these could be approved as non-regulated as of right activities, which would not require full inland wetlands permits because they're for conservation purposes. So I don't know, has anyone had the chance or anyone not had the chance to read my memo?
I read your memo.
I read it
So
as well.
if the
I
commission,
have it.
okay, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I'll read it briefly. I'll just go over the key points.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Great, thank you. So both property owners, 32 Old Nod Road and 8 Lindera Lane, have applications for beaver deceiver water leveling systems, and they both have flooding issues due to beaver dams, and they would like to find long-term solutions to the problem. I've had multiple conversations with the commission about these systems, and I had invited Diane Honer from the Beaver and Wildlife Solutions in Chester to present to the Inland Wetlands Commission to answer questions about the installation of these systems, explaining their benefits to the ecosystem and to the homeowners. Beaver deceivers maintain the water level for the beavers, for the wetlands, and for the property owners. Beavers are considered a keystone species that supports the entire biological community. They are instrumental in creating habitats for many aquatic organisms. However, when beavers build dams that flood properties, it becomes problematic. Beaver deceivers allow beavers to coexist with humans, and the water leveling systems can last for 10 years before they need replacing. On 6/2/23, I had a lengthy conversation with Darcy Winther from the Connecticut Deep Inland Wetlands Management Program. She said many municipalities consider beaver deceivers and water leveling devices to be non-regulated as of right activities, but this determination must be made by the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission. Per section 22A-40 of the Connecticut General Statutes, Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Act, permitted operations and uses. The following operations and uses shall be permitted in wetlands and watercourses as of right. 1, conservation of soil, vegetation, water fish, shellfish, and wildlife. Per Inland Wetlands Regulation 4.2, this is our regulations, the following operations and uses shall be permitted as non-regulated uses in wetlands and watercourses, provided they do not disturb the natural and indigenous character of the wetlands or watercourse by removal or deposition of material, alteration or obstruction of water flow, or pollution of the wetland or watercourse. 4.2a, conservation of soil, vegetation, water, fish, shellfish, and wildlife. Beaver deceiver water leveling systems do not involve deposition of material or removal of material. They do not disturb the natural and indigenous character of the wetlands or watercourse or obstruct flow. The pipe allows the maintenance of the water level, which is a conservation activity for soil, water, vegetation, fish, and wildlife. I am requesting that the Inland Wetlands Commission consider whether or not they would deem that beaver deceiver water leveling systems can be viewed as of right non-regulated uses. Sincerely, Kathleen King, Zoning and Wetlands Enforcement Officer. And before you begin to discuss it, you probably should have Mike Florio recused because one of these applications is for his property.
Yeah, I think for discussion, I mean, maybe on the vote, he would certainly recuse himself, but I think for discussion of whether or not it's an activity that we would regulate, I think he's, and I mean, again, this is my opinion as just a regular old guy. I'd be interested in having Mike's take on it since he's here, but maybe like you said, maybe on voting, maybe a recusal. Well, I guess I'll open it up to the board.
Mr. Chairman, point of order here. I don't think Mike should recuse himself. One person I do think should recuse himself is Bert, who went like this, down, thumbs down, when they mentioned a beaver deceiver. And he also said at a meeting on video that he hoped Florio's house flooded out, when he was so happy when Mike Florio's house flooded out. He said it, and I told him anytime a beaver comes up, you got to recuse yourself because he's biased. Just like you are, Kathy. I'm being honest. I'm calling a spade a spade. That woman at 141 Liberty Street. No, I'm going to speak. 141 Liberty Street. All she wanted to do was have a hamburger on her patio that was 4 feet underwater, and we didn't do shit to help her. And she ended up dying. She ended up dying because we took so long, and we didn't have to do that.
Okay, Eddie, first of all, we're in a public meeting. And I'm not going to,
Kath, I'm being honest
okay,
with you.
right. But you can say you're being honest. Unfortunately, Eddie, you're not. First of all, the information I have on a lot of these beaver deceiver systems came to me in the beginning when I started this job from Bert. So please don't accuse him of
Yeah,
something
but
that he didn't do.
he just gave a thumbs down.
Well,
You didn't
I
see
don't
him?
think, okay, but I don't
You
think
didn't
we
see
should
him do that?
accuse Bert of something without giving him an opportunity to speak.
And he
Secondly,
gave a thumbs down, and he also said he was happy to have the Florio home. When I told him that the wife came out and opened up the door and the water was coming up on her ankles, he said he hopes the whole place floods out.
okay,
So be more
secondly,
beavers.
please do not accuse me, especially in a public forum, of something that isn't true.
It's
I,
true though, Kath.
no, it is not.
That woman never had a hamburger on
Eddie,
her patio. It was 4
first of
feet
all,
underwater.
Can we
this
be
is not,
civilized, please?
Eddie, this is not an emotional argument, okay? The beaver
What do you
deceiver
call
had
it?
nothing to do with a woman having an illness. It has nothing to do with a personal
Yeah,
situation.
but it took so long. All we
Eddie,
did was procrastinate
Eddie,
on it,
let
Kath.
me speak, please. Eddie, you
Yeah.
need to stop or we're going to mute you, okay? You need to stop. The thing is that what you would ask me to do at the time was to create a regulation around beavers. We cannot do that. What we can do is to create regulations around activities that people do to react to the beavers. What we do is we have regulations for what's done in the inland wetlands that the people do. I cannot create regulations for beaver activity. And I found that out from multiple wetlands officers, including at the time Mike D'Amato, who was working with us, in addition to Darcy, who is the wetlands person up at the state. And that's what you wanted me to do at the time. You suggested I create regulations and go rogue. I cannot do that.
I never asked you. I never asked you, Kath. All I asked you to do
Okay,
was help
okay,
these people out.
right. But the
And
problem is helping the
did.
people out was something I could not do because I couldn't create a regulation to do that. They would have to come to me with an
They did,
idea
Kath. The
that we would
woman
have to
died.
regulate.
Ryan even said, Ryan Tartaso, our vice chairman, who's in charge of this meeting tonight, even said that I was very passionate about that one house. Remember, Ryan?
I
Eddie,
remember
you're
talking about
not
your passion,
speaking
but I need
truth
to,
here.
as you guys are making my first and only vice chair here very exciting. I feel like I'm at the WWE right now.
Can I just speak for a second?
Let's refocus here. Let's bring our blood pressures down. Let's act, let's try and have some decorum. The topic we have at hand is discussing exactly what Kathy just said, and let's focus on that topic.
So
Kathy
can I
asked
speak quick?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with this beaver thing, all we're asking to do is, instead of people like me to pull a permit to put this beaver deceivers, for Kathy to be able to look at it and say, okay, you can install this beaver deceiver because it's going to help the environment. And then we're going to just get Diane Honer to come in and put this beaver deceiver. It's very simple. There's nothing more than that happening right now. So once we discuss this and come to an agreement that Kathy is going to be able to go to a property, look at it, and say, okay, the solution here is to put in this beaver deceiver, then the person's going to be able to do it, and without going through all these hoops and stuff and permits and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah.
So all we
Yeah,
have to do is vote on the fact that Kathy is going to be able to say that you don't need a permit to install this because it's actually going to help the environment. So that's all we need to do.
What this is for is, instead of receiving the application, which is number 3 on the agenda, receipt of applications, we would not need to do that. Receipt of applications usually mean the commission officially receives the application and they schedule a site walk. We would not need to do that. What we would do instead is the administrative review piece, where you as a commission would make a determination that these can be approved as of right, non-regulated activities, but you would need to make some findings. The findings would be that this would not, just as stated in statute, that this would not change the indigenous quality of the wetlands, that it would not change the level, the language that I mentioned in my memo, that it would not, raise or lower the water level. It's to maintain that there's no deposition, there's no removal, so you'd want to make sure it maintains what the regulations say. And
Right,
as,
and this is
as
gonna make
long
your
as you do that,
this is gonna make Kathy's job so much easier, and it's gonna make it a lot quicker, which is what everybody really wants, is to get this thing done quicker. So she's gonna be able to go out there and determine the fact that we could put this beaver deceiver in, and we could get it going without going through a whole permit process. That's all.
it's an opportunity to do something that's in conservation, but without making homeowners have to jump through a lot of hoops to do
Like
something
like
that's
they do now.
beneficial.
Which is
Right,
a big,
right.
big
All
focus
the
of this
damage.
commission.
I just can't
this
believe
is
all the
gonna help.
damage that has been going on.
Right.
And
Okay,
it's
so-
been,
But
now
this-
we've been talking about this for
this is
almost 3 years, and it's still
Right.
going on, all the
Yeah.
damage, all the way up. Well, can we take a vote on it
This is
now?
gonna help. This is gonna help.
I'd like to, there are, I read that memo from Kathy, and it is, I guess, up to, she wants a discussion from the commission,
Yes.
and there are, I've checked into it since our last couple of meetings, but there are a couple of other options, but I do think that that is a good option, the beaver deceiver. But there are a couple more, and I'd have to take some time to get involved in what it is, or maybe one day I can stop and talk to Ed or Kathy about it,
Well,
and take it from there. But
But
the
what it
thing is,
is,
I think for the time being, I think it's a good idea to allow each case, let Kathy take control of it, as long as the commission's made aware of it and what they're using for materials and stuff like that, and take it case by case until and see how it goes, and that would make it
Lawrence,
easier, red tape for her.
it's a pipe
Lawrence,
that
it's a
they
very
put
simple
in.
process. They put a cage in the water and they put a pipe through the cage to keep the beavers from clogging it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It works on
And that,
hydrostatic pressure, and it keeps
If
the
they
water
hear
level to where
water,
it gets deep.
they go to work,
Right.
Lawrence. That's the
well,
problem.
I understand that. I was in the meeting where they had the discussion. It said they're in their inner gyro or whatever it is, but there are rechargers and stuff that you can use underwater also that may do the same thing without having an above water effect for the beavers to build a dam on. That's one
Listen,
option.
I'm just saying, if you go, I'm gonna say this very calmly, if you go from Liberty Street to, Elliott, and it's about a half mile wide, it's decimated. Florio, his yard is gone. The people the woman that died, all she wanted to do was have a hamburger on a grill. And this is why I'm emotional. And Ryan knows this. All she wanted to do was use a grill and her patio, which was 4 feet underwater. And we just, she died. She never had a hamburger on her house. So I'm really pissed off, to be honest with you. And I'm mad about Bert when he's already doing this.
Eddie, we're starting to circle the wagons again.
All right, I'm not circling back, Ryan, but you can't have a commissioner giving a thumbs down before we even do anything. If Kathy's going to do her job,
Eddie,
go ahead.
if you do, Ed,
Take the vote.
and I get your passion, even if you do, it can't be met with accusatory and
I'm not accusing. It's facts. It's facts.
I listen. I think we're more aligned than not aligned, but I think that to move this meeting forward, this is a public meeting. People are going to come and see this commission. Let's have some semblance of non-dysfunction here. So
Right, so let's take a
I
vote.
think we've heard from, I'm not ready to take a vote on this. I'd like to talk for one more moment about it and ask Kathy a couple of questions.
Sure.
Kathy, I'd like your opinion on where you think what makes sense for the Inland Wetland Commission to stand on this.
Okay.
And I'd also like to circle back. I know that in the last year or year and a half since I've been here, I recall one time that I think it was pads being put in place for air conditioners that we no longer needed to have applications for things like that. And we're sort of doing a similar type thing here. In this case, when when Florio goes to put his beaver deceiver in, I believe so far on everything I've heard that I agree that it should just be allowed, that we should not have homeowners jumping through red tape. Is there something, however, that at least notifies this commission that it's being done? I don't want to stop anything. I want it to move forward, but it is an activity taking place in the wetlands, right? So I guess that's my question and comment.
These are two separate things. So the first part of it with the generators, what happened was we had a lot of people coming to the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and to Inland Wetlands Commissions where they had a small propane tank, an air conditioner condenser, or a generator where they needed to get either full commission for approval from wetlands or ZBA approval because those were either in setbacks or in wetlands. And these were small propane tanks like for grills. So what we decided to do was we took them out of the definition of what we call structures for zoning, but we also decided to mirror that by taking them out of wetlands unless the generator pad is more than 10 square feet, and then they do have to come before you. This instance, Darcy said that the commission should still deem it as a non-regulated as of right activity. So they still would come to you. There is something in the regulations about you can make me a duly authorized agent, but I can check that with Abby, but I believe these still have to come to you for you to put your stamp of approval on it and bless it and say, yes, this is something that we feel is an authorized, non-regulated as of right activity. And in which case, then they can go ahead with it. So in this instance, Diane Honer is, certified to do this process. And so I know that with the application for 32 Old Nod, she did supply a lot of information about, how this process is done, and how she goes about doing it and what she uses. I did go out to a property with her, with Mike Florio actually, out to the property, and I'm sure after the installation, the commission could go out and see what it looks like. What she basically does is she does, as Mike described, she takes a pipe, and I think it depends on the area in terms of the width of the pipe and the length. And then she puts the cage out, and what that does is it prevents the beavers from clogging the pipe. So they can go about doing their beaver activity, and they can coexist with the homeowners because they can try to dam it as much as they want when they hear the trickle of the water, but they can't dam it. So they can, it doesn't cause any more flooding. They can coexist with the property owner. So that's and because beavers do provide a lot of positives to the environment and the ecosystem, there's that benefit, plus the homeowners don't have to worry about the flooding.
Okay.
So you
I'm
still
ready
would see it.
So I'm ready, I think, what type of motion should I put forth here to vote on?
You would put it forth as saying that you would deem as a commission that it is a non-regulated as of right activity, and then you would want to make some findings in that as part of the motion. So I would use the language that's part of the either the statute or our regulation that talks about, that there's no deposition, there's no, there's no fill, and those types of things, that it's not going to be raising the level of the water or lowering it, it's just maintaining, so that there's specific findings as to why, and there would be two motions, one for 8 Glendera and one for 32 Old Knot. And then once those are done, then the person would not need a permit, they could go and do the work.
Okay. Does somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, I would.
Let's have it, Eddie.
Okay, well, first you need to receive the, I believe they need to receive it first, Kathy. I know we changed it from regulated activity, or do we just proceed to the administrative review?
Yeah, because we're not officially receiving it because it's not going to be considered to be an application.
Yeah, do we need to take a vote on? Do we need to take a vote on not considering these applications?
I think if you consider it an as of right, non-regulated activity,
We're good.
yeah, that will cover it.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, so on IWC 20.
Well, first of all, Ryan, why don't you call the first application under administrative review, and the McGraths are here. so see if they might have anything to say.
Okay, this is for administrative review, IWC 23-5, 32 Old Nod Road, Lori and Bob McGrath, applicants and owners. Determination of as of right activity, installation of a beaver deceiver device into a water course, assessors map 20, block 6, lot 57, zone IP, record IWC 23-5. You can look at it in the viewpoint cloud if you've got the agenda up. What do I need to say next?
Actually, Mrs. McGrath has submitted a written request for a waiver of the application fee. There normally is an application fee for a determination.
Okay.
Or regular any application. However, there is a deep fee that the town has to pay to the state. So staff respectfully suggests that that fee not be waived because that's something the town has to pay.
And both
by statute.
applicants know that, yeah. Both applicants know that the $60 fee would still be charged.
Okay. So does somebody want to make a motion to waive the IWC fee, but I guess sustain the deep fee?
Yeah, I would. I would like to waive that fee.
Okay, that's Eddie.
Yep.
Move to
All those
waive
in
the
favor
IWC application fee. Second.
All those in favor of waiving? Oh,
You need
sorry.
a second.
Second.
I'll second it.
That was
Bert.
Lawrence.
Bert.
Lawrence Edwards.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor of waiving the fee, say aye.
Yes, for discussion.
Aye.
Oh.
Aye.
Any discussion?
Aye.
Okay, no discussion. I've got some
In
ayes.
favor.
I'm an aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Opposed?
abstaining. All those opposed. All right. No abstains, no opposed. All right.
Okay.
So we will waive that fee for the applicants. I know that we have the applicants on the phone, and first, my apologies for a little bit of a disconnected meeting today. We are not usually are. We have a much more fearless leader than myself here. Do you guys do you have anything you'd like to say or questions you'd like to ask on the record?
I just want to say, this is Lori, how helpful Kathy's been. This has been quite a process, and for it to come to this, it's really helpful to us. We're very happy that there's a solution here, and I think it's really important for the environment. I think it's important for the world that we start doing this kind of stuff. And it helps us a lot because financially this costs money, and for you guys to waive this, it's huge for us to go forward. And I want to thank you. But Kathy especially has walked us through it, and I think we're the first ones to do this right now in Clinton. And the easier you make it, I think the more people would be interested in helping get this stuff done.
I agree. Thank you. I agree. Thank you very much for the comments. We are very lucky to have Kathy, and I know that this commission shares the same sentiment that this Beaver Deceiver project, I don't know how many hours Kathy has into it, but it's significant, and she's moved it along, and I myself, and I'm sure the rest of the commission are very thankful to be where we are, because we don't have to be here if it's not for her above and beyond work on it. So thank you very much, and thanks for your comment. Anything else I need to do on this, Sherry?
Yes, the commission should make a determination as to the as of right activity and why it meets the statute or the regulation, as Kathy said.
Those findings.
Those findings, yeah.
That should be made in the motion.
Who's prepared to make that motion on this call?
I will, Ryan, because
Love it. Love it. Let's have it, Eddie.
About this whole thing. So I want a determination as of right activity, so they could do this with Kathy, looking at it and making sure they do it right. And
Eddie, can you read the whole motion, starting with the description of the application on the agenda?
On the from the record viewpoint, or just the IWC 23-8 determination?
Read from your agenda. Do you have that in front of you?
I have the agenda right open in front of me. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so it's I-23-5 and I-23-8. Is that what you want to read?
Just 23-5 right now.
Okay, 32 Old Nod Road, Lori and Robert McGrath. Determination of as of right activity, installation of beaver deceiver and device and in the water course. Assessors map 20, block 6, lot 57, zone IP. And Mr. and Mrs. McGrath, I apologize for getting so worked up, but it's just been this is a very hard.
Eddie, you're in the middle of a motion.
I know I am, Sherry.
I know, Eddie, but you haven't finished the motion.
Can you reference the statute, Eddie, or the language in the regulation about the the conservation and that there's no deposition?
In the conservation of the activity. And then will we read the whole regulation, or?
Yeah, why don't you read it from the memo?
Or if you tell me which one you're using, I can.
That's all right, sure, I can find it.
You can say, as stated in June 6, 2023, memorandum from Kathy King, Wetlands Enforcement Officer. We find the commission, you say something like the commission finds that the proposed project conforms with whichever you're going to use, the state statute reference or the inland wetlands regulation 4.2.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read the one Kathy sent out today. Is that right?
Yes, sure. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, okay.
Finds that the proposed project
Okay.
perhaps that the proposed project, the commission finds that the proposed project meets the requirements to be deemed an as of right activity or IWC regulation 4.2. And do you want to list all those things there that she has in the memo for that paragraph?
No, you can go ahead and read it.
I actually can't, but the commission secretary, who is Tanya, could read it if she has it.
Will you read it for me, please?
Tanya, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. Hold on 1 second. Let me get it up there. I don't have it right in front of me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
1 second. Oh dear. Okay. It is. Where is that? Is it on the agenda? I'm sorry.
It's in viewpoint that she sent out today.
Oh my goodness. All right.
No,
Hold on 1 second.
No, it's.
I'm sorry. I'm on my phone here. It's very difficult
She
for me to
also
see.
sent an email today.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yes, she did.
Because I don't recall seeing that. All I saw
Yes, she
was,
Ryan, do you
no,
have that handy?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it today.
I have the viewpoint up for Lori and Robert McGrath. Is
Yeah, it's
it?
the very
It's
last,
it's in viewpoint. Yes, it is in viewpoint.
It's the
towards
very
the
last.
end of the attachments.
Is the terms the proposed boundary change and verification?
Oh, wait, I got it now.
I'm happy to read it if a public hearing.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's just taking me a minute
Sherry,
here.
which part in the viewpoint is it? And I'll read it. I'll just blast through it right now.
I don't
Proposed
have the
boundary?
ability to have viewpoint
Proposed
on.
boundary. All right, I'll start with
Describe
the
the,
terms. So the terms of the viewpoint here: proposed boundary change / verification. The site plan must be signed by both land surveyor and the certified soil scientist to show the following information. The wetland boundary as taken from the official wetlands and watercourse map of the town of Clinton. The new boundary is flagged by the field. It's flagged in the field by the certified soil scientist. If no wetlands are identified by the soil scientist, a statement to this effect must be noted on
Okay,
the site
excuse
plan.
me, Ryan, I don't think you're reading the correct thing.
no.
This is, if you go scroll down, you'll see a June 6 Beaver Deceiver water leveling systems. It was uploaded on June 6th.
oh, yeah, I don't see that either.
Under
It just,
attachments.
it just was sent out today. It's the most recent attachment in OpenGov.
I read it, Kathy. I mean, I know you sent it out.
I never got it.
Okay, I can,
Can
I
you
will
just read it, Sherry?
Yes, I will. Per Inland Wetlands Regulation 4.2, the following operations and uses shall be permitted as non-regulated uses in wetlands and watercourses, provided they do not disturb the natural and indigenous character of the wetlands or watercourse by removal or deposition of material, alteration or obstruction of water flow, or pollution of the wetland or watercourse, 4.2a, conservation of soil, vegetation, water, fish, shellfish, and wildlife.
Thanks, Sherry.
And Eddie, you want to continue?
No, I'm gonna pass. I'm long day.
We
Okay.
need somebody to pick up the motion then. Tanya, can you pick up the motion?
Yeah, let me see. So where are we left off in that? I'm sorry. So we're at,
And it just that the applicant
oh,
has met what part of it did the applicant meet? Such as the conservation of the water.
You just need to make a
I don't know what.
finding.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm sorry.
So
I
when you approve the application with the motion, you just kind of want to make a finding that this application meets those parts of the statute, and that's why you're saying that it is an as of right application, that it's non-regulated.
So what, IWC 23-5, 32 Old Nod Road, Lori and Robert McGrath. We found this to be an as of right activity, and the findings as stated and in the statute, according to the statute that was read previously.
Yes, that's fine. It just
Perfect.
so that you're showing that it meets
Perfect.
those criteria of the statute.
Yeah, it meets
All
it
right.
meets the criteria of the statute as what dictated
And
earlier.
that's why you're deeming it to be an as of right non-regulated activity,
Right.
because
All right.
it meets those criteria. That's
Now,
the finding.
do I get a second first, or do we have discussion first?
You need a second first.
I'll look for a
I'll second.
second on Tanya's motion. Mike Florio is the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
I would suggest a roll call vote.
All right, a roll call vote. You want me to call roll, Sherry?
No, I
Sherry
can
will
do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Tanya Abatello,
Aye.
Edward Alberino,
All right.
Michael Florio,
Aye.
Bertram Schmitz.
Here.
Was that an aye?
Aye. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Ryan Tardizel,
Aye.
Lawrence Edwards,
Aye.
Kimberly Lombard.
Aye.
Motion was carried unanimously.
Look at us, more similar
Okay,
than
right.
we are different. All right, so do we just want to move right on to the next one, to the Florio's 8 Lindera Lanes application?
Yeah,
Sure.
I just want to say, Mrs. McGrath, if you call the office tomorrow, Kathy will be able to tell you about what's the next steps.
I want to thank all of you.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
thanks for hanging in there with this one.
Have a good night.
It's been a
You
roller
too,
coaster.
Maria.
Thank you so much thank you.
Bye.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. And Tanya, if it's not too much I mean, I don't know if I can ask, but
Oh yeah, I can do it.
if
Yep. I
somebody
got it
would
right
like
here.
an almost
Like,
identical motion for this one, I think that's appropriate.
okay.
And
Do I have to
Michael can recuse because he's a property owner.
Yeah, I think Michael recuse.
Okay,
All
Mike,
right.
I see that. Thing.
Ryan, you need to call note the application number, etc., from the agenda.
All right, so we're moving on to IWC 23-8, 8 Lindera Lane, Michael Florio applicant, Michael A. Florio and Kimberly E. Dumas owners, determination of as of right activity, installation of a beaver deceiver into a water course, assessors map 73, block 44, LO 4-2-2, zone R80. And we've also got on this one a request for waiver of application fee. So should we do the request of a waiver application fee first?
Actually, the applicant has not asked for it in writing, but perhaps he would like to ask for it now.
Yes. I'd like to request a waiver of the application fee. I totally forgot to do that. Sorry.
No problem, Mike. All right, so I need somebody to make a motion to request basically the same motion that we made for the last folks.
Right.
Release of waiver and the deep. We're going to keep that one.
Yes.
Right. You need
I'll make a motion to
this
for
Tanya?
yes, it's Tanya. I'll make a motion to waive the fee,
The application fee
the application fee.
for
Or I do I have to go through the whole thing? IWC 23-8, 8 Lindera Lane, Michael Florio, applicant Michael A. Florio and Kimberly A. Dumas, owners. Determination of as of right activity, installation of a beaver deceiver device into a water course, assessors map 73, block 44, LO 4-2-2, zone R80.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we've got Bert seconding. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those abstaining?
Me.
And
no,
all those
Mike,
again,
you're not
and all those.
seated.
What do I do?
You're just
good, Mike.
recusing, so you're not abstaining.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And all those voting against. All right, so it passes unanimously for those seated. And then Tanya will just run through the same thing. Again, it doesn't have to be Tanya. Anybody would like to make a motion for IWC 23-8 to determine if it is an as of right activity.
And also, again, using those findings that you have for either the statute or the regulation.
Yes.
See, I don't have the
Tanya.
statute. Yeah, I don't have the statute. I don't have
It's
it.
in the
It
memo.
doesn't.
It's
Okay.
in the memo.
You said that last time and I hit it and it's not coming up. Hold on one second. I mean, I have it, but I've got, okay, here it is. Property owner, permit type. Oh, it's the definition as of right and non-regulated uses. Are we using that? Or definition of regulated activities? Is that?
So I sent out a memo. It
Yeah,
was
I
called,
didn't get that. I swear I didn't get it. I don't know why, but I don't have it.
okay, because Sherry
I
sent it
didn't get
out.
it either, so
Yeah, and Kathy, I'm not seeing it in mine either. I don't know if it got
Okay.
Yeah.
flagged as spam or
Sherry
something.
sent it, but if you don't have it, it's in viewpoint, and if not, Sherry can read it again.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait. The memo
I'm
you're
in
talking about
viewpoint.
is the Beaver
Are
to
you
Sea
in?
memo?
Okay, hold on. If you're in viewpoint
Yeah, I'm in viewpoint right now.
for 8 Lindera Lane,
Regulated. Is it the regulated 100-foot review zone or as of right activity? Is that what we're reading?
no.
It's
that's
the
what I tried to
very
read
last
before.
attachment. It should be the most recent, so it's at the very bottom of all of the attachments. And it would be dated today, and it's
Actually,
ZE.
it was dated yesterday. It was sent out, yes, posted. So it's at
It was-
the end, and it's called Beaver Deceivers / Water Leveling Systems.
And it's attachment there?
It's under the
I see, because when I see documents, oh, maybe in files?
files.
It's under
That's what it is.
files. That's where
All
all the
right, you gotta
attachments
click
are.
on files next to
And go
details there.
all the way to the bottom. That's the
All
most
the way to the
recent.
bottom,
Yep.
download. Okay.
I don't know. I'm in the document, current meeting materials.
Are you on the agenda? Or are you in viewpoint?
I don't know where I am, and I'm supposed to know these things, and I have no idea. This is not working the way that it has in the past for me for some reason.
Sherry, can you read it again from the memo like you did for the last one?
Okay, so actually, we don't have a motion yet. Okay, so
Can I make this motion?
sure.
And I have the memo open. Which part of this memo would you like me to read? Per section 22A-40?
22A40, and then if you want to do, I would read both of them.
Either
So
from
you're
the
gonna move
statute
back.
or the reg.
All right.
Just refer to one of them so we have that language about that how it meets the criteria for that regulated, unregulated activity as of right.
All right. Feel free to interrupt me here. Ryan, am going to make a motion to determine that 8 Lindera Lane and IWC 23-80 is an as of right activity. That's the installation of a beaver deceiver per section 22A-40 of the CT General Statutes, Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Act. Permitted operations and uses. The following operations and uses shall be permitted in wetlands and watercourses as of right. Conservation of soil, vegetation, water, fish, shellfish, and wildlife per Inland Wetlands Regulation 4.2. The following operations and uses shall be permitted as non-regulated use in the wetlands and watercourses, provided they do not disturb the natural and indigenous character of the wetlands or watercourse by removal of or disposition of material, alteration or obstruction of water flow or pollution of the wetlands or watercourse, 42A, conservation of soil, vegetation, water, fish, shellfish, and wildlife. Beaver deceivers, water leveling systems do not involve disposition of material or removal of material. They do not disturb the natural indigenous character of wetlands or WE report to IWC re beaver deceivers. I think I may have gone on a little too long there, but I'll make a motion.
That is your motion.
That's the motion. The motion has been made. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it, and now I found the document.
Perfect. I'm gonna
Okay.
Oh my God, there was another
print it
tab.
out
I'm
and
sorry.
fall asleep with it tonight.
Okay, there's was discussion.
Any discussion? No discussion. I can't believe it. All those in favor say aye.
You want a
Aye.
roll call
Aye.
vote?
Want to do roll call?
Roll call vote.
Tanya Abatello,
Aye.
Edward Alberino,
Aye.
Bertram Schmitz,
Yes.
Ryan Tardisel,
Aye.
Lawrence Edwards,
Aye.
Kimberly Lombard.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks to our applicant, Mike Florio. I met Mike Florio about a year and a half or 2 years ago. And I remember I sat next to him at that first meeting and he told me he was just here for the beavers. And
Yeah.
I'm
still here
very
for the beavers.
glad that I'm very glad that after 2 years, there's been some very legitimate progress in this neighborhood, and that it's going to positively affect one of our valued members here. So that's awesome. All right, we
So-
ready to move on to staff reports?
Okay,
Right,
so
Mike Florio has rejoined the meeting.
Welcome back, Mike. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
back.
Thank you.
Staff reports, wetland officer report.
So I'm going to pick B and then I'll do A. So great news, 0 Blaine Avenue. It's been a long journey and the work was completed. We had to go back for some more remediation work. I went out for a site visit with Mike Ott, who's a professional engineer, and Rich Snarsky, who's a certified soil scientist. More work needed to be done. Mr. Goodrich, the property owner, did the work. And it was done well. And I sent you all a report on that this afternoon. The only things outstanding is that per the requirements of the Wetlands Commission, Mike Ott, the engineer, is going to provide an as-built. I spoke with him this evening before the meeting, and he said he is going to call me tomorrow and see what the time will be for that and when it'll be submitted. But he said he's going to get right on it and get it to us soon. So that's terrific. And the water level looks great. I sent photos to you guys.
Yeah,
if you recall from our site visit, it was muck, and now the water's flowing. It's terrific what the work he's done. So thank you, Mr. Goodrich, for remediating that. I went out to 17 Baxter. A lot of the wood chips have been removed. And also I do have some of the waste tickets. I did receive a request from the property owner and the engineer, Chuck Mandel, to close this out. This has been, as you know, a long violation, and I'm not completely comfortable closing it out at this time. I'm going to ask for, I think, the town planner to go out with me as a second opinion, just to see, how we both feel. And I feel better getting another pair of eyes on that and seeing if she also feels comfortable closing it out before I recommend that to the commission. And as I said, the only other thing to report is that we have a number of other applications that were made that were incomplete. So, we're really taking a lot of time to go through them. And I know Scott and the commission had asked for that, and making sure everybody has all their ducks in a row before we pass them on to you. And there were a lot of things missing or incomplete, or fixes that needed to be made. So hopefully in July you'll see some of those applications. And that's it for me.
All right, thanks very much.
Good.
We're ready to move on to correspondence. We have DEP pesticide application notifications.
These are just correspondence, pesticide application notifications. They have to get DEP permission. So DEP just sends us notifications that these things are being done. And obviously they need to be certified, licensed, and they need to be, it needs DEP supervision. So it's not something we, permit. It's just an FYI kind of a thing.
Okay, so I'll put in a record, FYI.
Yeah.
pesticide applications. We received 3 of them, it looks like. 1 at the Riverdale Farm Campground, 111 River Road, 1 at Chapman Pond, 9 Fernwood Lane, and 1 at Silverbrook, it looks like HOA, 7 Silverbrook Lane. Anything else I need to do there?
Nope.
All right. Any old business? No. Any new business? No. Any chair comments? No, no chair comments. And now we are to adjournment. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
Make a
motion to
motion to-
adjourn.
Is that Kimberly?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
Tanya.
I think it was Tanya. Tanya, a motion to adjourn. Anybody second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Gloria?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you,
All
Ryan,
right,
for sharing
everybody.
tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I
Good job,
apologize
Ryan.
for battling my way through that. Maybe next time if it ever happens again. I'll
Yeah.